Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the Bitcoin price today as we are coming down here, forming a new low while Ethereum has formed new all-time highs, exactly like we predicted, this decoupling effect because of the Ethereum to Bitcoin price. And then when we look at what's happening in Bitcoin, you can see yesterday we failed to have this candle touch the 50-day moving average. And I told you guys if that was to occur, we had this level around that $50,000 big even at 49,700 as our next downside target. And you can see here the candle low today is $50,500 for Bitcoin, and we are still seeing strength with Ethereum. I want to talk about exactly what's happening to the markets because we can also see that this breakout that we were tracking on the gold to Bitcoin chart, if we were to invert this chart, is also playing out right now below this 50-day moving average. So we have a lot to look at today. You guys are watching the Snipers channel. My name is Naeem Al-Obeidi. If you appreciate this content, remember to smash the like button. First, I want to talk about exactly what's happening here to Bitcoin because realize that this candle was not able to touch this 50-day moving average. And I told you guys that when we saw the new daily candle open, if we were not at this 50-day moving average, there was a chance that we could potentially see a push down to that $49,700 level. And you can see we've already come down to test 50,000 with this candle low at 50,500. So the next level that we have to watch is this 100-day moving average showing confluence at 49,700 US dollars. If this level was to break for Bitcoin at 49,700 and we see hourly and 4-hour candles below this 100-day moving average, then we have to start looking at the $44,800 level. That is going to be a major area because realize that that was the high here when we formed the Bitcoin all-time high in January, and then we saw a consolidation all the way through February. And so this is a major level, but now we are playing in this zone below 58,300. And so I told you guys that if we were to stay below 58,300, especially below this 50-day moving average, that we had this massive area here that Bitcoin could see consolidation and price action in this area because there's still low volume. And I tell you guys all the time, what is the path of least resistance when there's low volume? It's always going to be sideways to a little bit higher, and that's exactly the type of price action we're seeing here with Bitcoin. For the upside scenario at any point right now, because we've already cleared all the longs here, it really doesn't matter whether or not Bitcoin is in between the 58,300 and $49,700 level, because if that is happening, we're going to see a lot more action in altcoins because that just assumes that we're going to continue to see sideways price action here for Bitcoin. And so if we're not at that $49,700 level, but we're still below 58,300, the real confirmation of strength at this point would be coming above the 50-day moving average again. And really it's the weekly open sitting at 56,200. So that's the bullish case. We have to get above 56,200, and that would be the early signs of a recovery operation to take us back towards the monthly open where it's showing confluence around that big even of 60,000 and at that $58,300 major level. And then we've also got the previous weekly open at that $59,900 level, all showing confluence in this area. And so 56,200 is the early signs of a recovery operation since that's the weekly open. And then we get above that, that would be the case that we could assume that we're going to see further upside for Bitcoin. But notice that there is some puzzle pieces I want to discuss later in this video because the total cryptocurrency market cap chart is currently below the weekly open and previous weekly open. But first I want to talk about what's happening to Ethereum. Notice how just like we predicted, we are seeing a decoupling effect where Ethereum has formed a new all-time high today at 2644, reaching our price target from this symmetrical triangle breakout based on the schematics of the base of this symmetrical triangle. And so now that we've reached this target, we can delete this schematic, and we have to expect a lot of volatility now that we've reached our upside target for Ethereum. And notice how now we're starting to see the sell volume and sell pressure come in, and Ethereum is known to be a volatile asset. But more importantly, notice how this channel resistance has also been an area where Ethereum has flirted with this area many times, forming new all-time highs before coming back into this channel and then consolidating, flirting with the support of this channel. And so if we were to maybe look at this as smart money coming in and a possible accumulation area, then we would want to say that anytime we're above this channel that we're potentially overbought when we're within this channel, we're just seeing garden variety market behavior. You can see we're currently back inside this channel. And then maybe we can assume that anything below this channel is going to be an accumulation area where we have good long swing trade opportunities around that $2,100 area. So we may start to see downside here for Ethereum. If Bitcoin continues to see downside, we could have potentially have seen the completion of this breakout. We just want to monitor the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart to really verify that, because notice how we are above this major area of 46,180 Satoshis. If we see continuation back above the current high here at 48,195 Satoshis, then we could assume that we're coming to test that 53,000 Satoshi area, and that would make us assume that we're going to see continued upside for the Ethereum to US dollar price. However, if we start to break down or consolidate here, we want to maintain 40,000 Satoshis at this point, because that's where we have the weekly open. We have these major levels that we could come back here and look at. You can see we have a high here, and then we also have this high here. And so we know previous resistance always turns into support, and so we want to monitor that 40,000 Satoshi area. If we start to see downside here, we could potentially have a higher high forming here for the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, but we will monitor this because this is quite a long distance here to get above. And so far you can see we do have a sort of bearish engulfing candle on this 4-hour chart, but we're still seeing a lot of buy pressure, rising sell pressure, and rising buy pressure that overtakes this sell pressure. And so we really want to monitor this 46,180 Satoshi area, in my opinion. If that breaks, then we can assume a test of 40,000. And so anything that assumes continued upside would be getting back above the candle high at 48,195, as I mentioned before. And so we'll monitor that because that could assume further upside for Ethereum. But notice that even with Bitcoin coming down, Ethereum is still maintaining price better. And that's why a week ago I told you guys that Ethereum was potentially the better asset to be in. And then when we look at the total cryptocurrency market cap chart to look a little bit into altcoins, notice how we broke down back into this channel, which was previous resistance. And you can see we're back inside below the weekly open and previous weekly open at $1.87 trillion in total market cap. We just want to monitor this area. If we start to cross below $1.75 trillion in total cryptocurrency market cap is when I would be a little bit more concerned about not just Bitcoin's price, but also with altcoins. But if we're maintaining 2 trillion, that's going to be the positive area because we're above this channel, and then that could assume that we're going to see further upside here for the total cryptocurrency market cap chart. So this is a make it or break it area. We want to monitor this monthly open and this major area around that $1.75 trillion area. And then of course for the upside, we want to get above 2 trillion here real soon. And with others dominance, you can see we're still seeing continued strength holding this breakout, which was previous resistance. It's now turning into support. So that's very good. With Bitcoin dominance, you can see we're actually coming here to test this major area of 50.85% dominance, just like we predicted. It looks like it wants to continue further. I don't know if it's completely reached the destination. And talking about destinations, we want to look at traditional markets because we know that we're monitoring this DXY chart where we have this potential inverse head and shoulder pattern forming. And if we start to see continuation to the upside here at this major level of 91.015, that could assume that we're going to see downside in traditional markets and in cryptocurrency markets because the US dollar rising in value does affect the price of these assets. And notice here how, just like we talked about, as soon as we came down to this major area where we have confluence with the 100-day moving average, the major level of 91.015, and the 20-week moving average, that we are starting to see daily candles close green. And you can see right now it's showing us this is an important level. And so if we get above the weekly open sitting right around where the 50-day moving average is at that 91.604 area, that could be the first sign of a recovery operation to form the last portion of this inverse head and shoulder pattern where we're potentially going to see a breakout of the US dollar value to the upside. Because notice how in 2017 and 18 we had this same area where we saw a reversal, and this was the top if we were to look at the cryptocurrency market. And when Bitcoin first crossed the $19,000 level, when the DXY reached this level, it started to come down. So notice how this is the same area, if we were to uninvert this chart, that we're currently seeing a potential reversal back to the upside. If we look at the 20-week moving average, it's the first time that we've gotten above that since we saw the dollar decline in value in March 2020. And so we want to monitor this bounce here at the 20-week moving average, potentially taking us to the upside. We're already seeing the early signs of the effects of this on the S&P 500. You can see we're coming here to knock on the door here. We're really starting to test home base, which currently is the previous weekly open at 41.15 for the E-mini futures contract for the S&P 500. If 41.15 breaks, this is the last puzzle piece, because we've already seen the largest international market break down from the 50-day moving average, bouncing here at the 100-day moving average, which is a positive sign. But realize that we are now still below the 50-day moving average for the largest international market, the Nikkei 225, which is Japan. And with the S&P 500, we've yet to see price action towards this 50-day moving average. So we want to monitor the S&P 500. Bitcoin is now also below the 50-day moving average, and we know what happened to gold when we got below the 50-day moving average. We created this downward channel. So we want to monitor what's happening there. Notice how with gold, we are starting to see a breakout above this channel, and we're potentially going to see strength here with commodities like gold, and we can include oil and silver in that mix. And then when we look at what's happening to the gold to Bitcoin chart, we've been monitoring this. You can see we are seeing a continuation above the 50-day moving average for the first time since we broke the 2017 bottom. And notice that in 2017, when we bottomed out here and we got above this 50-day moving average, that was what ended up taking the price back towards this upward channel. So we want to monitor this. And then, of course, when we look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, just to wrap up, I just want to throw this puzzle piece and give you something to take home. We have this major bullish candle here breaking the 200-week moving average. This is something we've been waiting for, and we've tested this many times. This is the first break of the 200-week moving average even since 2018. And so this is a major puzzle piece on the table to take home with you. The Ethereum to Bitcoin price is showing us that Ethereum is seeing a lot of strength right now, and it has been certainly the better asset to be in, as we've been talking about. And so with that being said, I do want to give away one of my favorite books on investing principles by Ray Dalio. If you want to win this book, comment below and share this video, and you'll have a chance to win. I'll pick a winner from our video yesterday. Let's see here. Jake Cottenham says, Naeem, always on top of it. Thanks, bro. Send me a message on Instagram. The link is in the description below. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this analysis. And until next time, snipers out.